Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ubuntu Touch Q&A. This is episode 38, streamed live on October 13th, 2018. We've got a bit of an interesting broadcast today because Telegram is currently down for most of the world. So if anyone wants to ask any questions, YouTube live chat or Matrix is the best place today. But with that out of the way, my name is Dalton, and joining me this week are Marius.
Hello.
Florian.
Hello, hello.
And Jan.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Well, I should probably post this in the group, even though that's kind of ineffective. I can't even pin things. All right.
You broke Telegram.
Yep. This is real broke. Maybe it's our fault. Yeah.
Blame Dalton.
Mm-hmm. Good thing people can't /blame Dalton in the supergroup because it's,
Yeah, supergroup is down. We can't blame Dalton.
Okay. So we've got a ton of things to get through this week, including, of course, the most important one, our announcement and release yesterday. OTA 5 is out.
Woo!
I'm having a celebratory tea because this is America and 21 is the drinking age. The tea attacked me before we went live. We're going to blame that for why we were a little late.
That's the reason. The one and only reason.
Yes.
The tea attacked you.
It did. You weren't watching. So everything that happened in this release. So we've got a ton of new features and everything for people. So that includes the new Morph browser based on Qt Web Engine. And this was kind of the pinnacle of the release, the big hoopla of the whole thing, Where we've got a faster browser, a more secure browser, because it is the newest version of Chromium. And it's just better in general. It brings possible support for things like Netflix and other web extensions, although that is not implemented yet. What else does our new browser bring?
Ooh, it brings a lot of new stuff. Mainly in media stuff. It has newer encoders. It also supports Chromium plugins or Pepper plugins or whatever they're called, which means you can install, for example, like Widewine, which means you can watch Netflix. But
if we could find one of those plugins that we could distribute, of course.
For ARM, I think that's the
for ARM,
bigger problem.
It seems like they're all for x86, and there's none available for anything else.
Yeah, you could extract them from a Chromebook, but I don't have a Chromebook with Chrome OS on, so.
And you especially don't have an ARM one.
Well, I do have an ARM one, actually. It is an ARM one.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, also included with this release are Kirigami 2 widgets and the Qt automatic scaling, which is based on the size of the display. And you can get that by enabling Qt auto scale. I believe it's an environment variable or a setting in your C++ app before you actually instance the app and get it running. That's important. You can't do it like mid-flight. And that'll be a good...
Well, you can do it in an airplane. That's mid-flight.
We can't leave this chat, but if we could, I would.
Continue.
We have... so, Qt automatic scaling is a good in-between for... you've just brought your app up, but you don't have anything for scaling built in yet. Whereas, ideally, you would be getting a some type of display pixel value or something that you would use to scale your own widgets. But it's a good in-between. Kirigami 2 is, of course, the toolkit from KDE, so that we have the possibility of KDE apps, including a couple that are already in the open store, including the Kirigami Gallery itself. I'm just trying to get my phone booted up here for the next section. So we also have community artwork, which came from our Ubuntu Touch showcase that we've been talking about in this show a few times. We've got all kinds of new backgrounds, and for our video listeners, I'm going to show you an extremely low quality preview of all of them, given that it is on my Nexus 5 and over a webcam. But got a great little roundup there from everyone in the community. And we also have a new default ringtone and message tone. So we have the wonderful I have no volume. Can't plan this stuff, folks. Can't. That probably doesn't get received. But I think that the ringtone is better anyway.
Just try it on your own devices.
That's probably a better idea. Anyone who's installing Ubuntu Touch new will get both of those ringtones by default. If you're just upgrading to 1604 from 1504 or from the previous release of 1604, you won't be getting those. They'll be in the image, but they won't be default for you. All right. And with that, I suppose then we go into how this whole release thing is happening. So currently the release is phased very slowly. So it's coming to a few people every hour or so. Basically, your device picks a random number, and if your number is selected by the server, then you get it. And that goes for both people on 1504 and 1604. So everyone who is on OTA 3 stable 1504 will be getting this update in the next few days. And likewise, everyone who is on OTA 4, because they installed it manually, will be getting it as well. Let's see. What else haven't we covered here?
Oh, we got a lot of critical bugs fixed. For example, the Nexus 4 camera bug was fixed. I see now in the list. Maybe not so many Nexus 4 users out there, but still, we think it's a precious little one. So we're happy that finally Andreas found the bug. Thanks to that. And I see a lot of critical labels here. So it's not only that we made eye candy and things for, let's say, for the ordinary users, but also very special things have been fixed.
One thing that also took a lot of work was upgrading the version of QtPim, which is a library that ties in with a lot of things like alarms and everything time related and PIM related. This was a necessary prerequisite for some later features, like, for example, more synchronization and improving all of that a little. And this also took a lot of work to test because it ties in with so many things depend on it and need to be updated then. That was a lot of work, and that also happened, and we are very happy that it's done.
Yeah, and excuses for the users that had some issues on the Devil channel for some days when the alarm suddenly wouldn't go off. So a few people overslept, unfortunately. But we value your testing input very much. So I think everybody will understand that sometimes this needs to happen. Yeah? So if you're on the Devil channel, remember, things can break. Also, the alarm can break. Yeah?
We hope we didn't get you in trouble, but at least we didn't ship the broken one to RC.
Yes. And finally, the last update date is now correct, which is also something that many users requested to be fixed. While not breaking the alarms, it just broke the memory about when did I update the last time. So hopefully that one's gone now. You can see the correct date.
Just a little bit of Python. It was all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
What else? Dialog crashes when inputting number that exists in context. I never saw this one, but okay.
So that was with the QtPim.
Yeah. That was shipping, yeah. Okay, nice. External display scaling. Where was this one? Dynamic scaling doesn't work with external display. So our Convergent users, where are you? Finally happy again, hopefully.
Yep, so that would be anyone, mostly the Nexus 5, but any Convergence users.
And Nexus 4.
And the Nexus 4 has Slim Port 2. I always forget about that one. Now all that scaling will work well on your external displays. We do have a few questions already in live chat about the browser. Are you of the opinion that users should hold back from upgrading if they don't want their tabs from the original browser gone? So the tabs that you have open may be gone, but we do have something in place to move your history, downloads, and bookmarks. So those will all come back with the upgrade to 1604.
So if you want to be sure, just bookmark all your open tabs.
Right. Other things. So yeah, those are all imported already. The open tabs themselves, however, are not. So other than that, I think we can keep on rolling now.
Yep. Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. Well, with OTA 5 out of the way, the only thing to do next is head right on to OTA 6.
Yeah.
Day after, we're already starting to plan this. So you will be able to see that milestone 13 is up, the OTA 6 milestone on the Ubuntu Touch repository. Right now, it's a little release. That's a T. I meant to do little. We've only got a couple of things in there now, but we plan to grow that over the week and flesh out a little bit more what's going to happen. This one's going to be a little bit of an accelerated timeline compared to our normal releases, because we just want to fix a few things.
A few remaining paper cuts that we didn't cover in OTA 5.
Yeah. So that would be the camera on the Nexus 5 and some things happening with the browser, like permissions, dialogues, and things like that.
And of course, any regressions that we might see now from doing OTA 5. I mean, there can always be something that still comes up, though we tested it for some time, and especially in the browser maybe. Let's see. We didn't test all the websites out there. I mean, unfortunately, we can't. So please give us feedback also for that one specifically, because the browser needs to be rock solid. I think it should be one of the core things that works really nicely and flawlessly. So OTA 6 will have some room for fixing browser bugs as well.
Yeah. And on the topic of browser, we really want to get in hardware acceleration in this. This was so close to getting in there. It's already working, but it's not stable enough to go in this release. Really hope that will be in the next one. And that's really, really nice to have that. It makes everything snappier and smoother.
Another question. Oh, yes, that's a very good point. The update to OTA 5 from 3 will not currently work if you have a Pro 5 that shipped with Android. So we've never really said that we supported those Pro 5s because the partition layout is different. They don't have enough space for normal upgrades. So if you have one of those Pro 5s that shipped with Android and you're having trouble installing, I believe there are some posts in the forum that have instructions for resizing the cache partition so you're able to upgrade. But that's kind of been the reason why we don't like to recommend people get those Android versions, because they do things like this sometimes. Thank you for reminding me, though.
One thing that we really hope is to get more space back once we are able to room Oxide. Oxide now takes huge amount of space.
That being the old browser.
The old browser, yeah. It's the single biggest component on Ubuntu Touch right now.
Which I guess makes sense. It is a web browser.
Yeah, compared to Qt Web Engine, it's big. So.
Right. Okay. I don't see anything else in the chat right now. So Cliff's Notes of OTA 6, it's going to be a bug fix release. We're planning about the middle of November right now for the release of that. But of course it will be when it's ready, it ships. And with that, if it's ready, it ships. I think that's a good place to go straight into. We're thinking about changing the release process for Ubuntu Touch. So we were kind of thinking, as we were doing the release yesterday, as you do, that maybe this isn't the best workflow for our community and our developers to get a release out. Namely, security updates and minor feature releases are taking a long time to get out. So like the update where it fixed the date of updates that didn't need to be so that didn't need to take until we released OTA 5. But it did. And we also have, of course, security updates. We want to get things tested faster so that we know that they are actually right and ready to go out. So with that, what we're kind of thinking is speeding up the release process and taking it out of the hands of humans. That second part is the most important part. Where we have the RC release. We don't exactly have the dates down yet, but we're thinking like RC goes in maybe Friday or Monday before, and then it gets promoted to stable on the Friday after. So at any time, your stable release will be probably up to 10 days behind Ubuntu proper.
So many people probably don't know this, but RC is also already built in that way. So it gets built automatically, and it takes the Devil release from 2 days before, unless there's an issue reported on GitHub and it's specially labeled, and that then blocks the RC release. So that, for example, is something very critical. Like when the alarms didn't ring, we just created a new issue and labeled that RC blocker, and then it blocked the RC. So we would do the same thing for stable, and then we would have a much faster delivery period for stable releases with very, very small features, of course. So this is what we are thinking about right now.
Yep. And of course, I'll be putting that on the forum within the next couple of days so that we can get everyone's feedback on it. That seems like the most sane thing to do. So if you do have comments on that, be watching the forum. It'll be in the OS section, I say. That post, if you have any opinions on that or otherwise. Ooh, that's a good piece of news. So next up, we have the Telegram sprint in the Meta Lab in Vienna. Florian, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Sure, yes, mostly because it's in Vienna. So the community takes up ideas now from let's say in the last year it grew from almost zero, and community waiting eagerly to get some ideas from us to let's invent our own ideas. So one of the ideas of a particular group of German developers is now, or was, to make a meetup and to, let's say, bootstrap or kickstart the new Telegram development finally, because I'm myself a little bit overworked with all the things, and the people want to help. So we said, okay, let's sit together in Vienna. They all come here, and we make 2 days of hacking on the initial version, or let's say to replace the old Telegram app with the new one, which is based on the official library, which will have no legacy code inside, which will be hopefully much faster, much more resilient, and have much more features in the future. But for the beginning, first we have to set the foundations, the grounds, where everybody can start playing. So it's a good thing to meet. And it's now, including myself and Jan, who will also come to Vienna, it's already over 10 people. So this will be really, really interesting. Let's say one of the first experiments to really get together for coding and not just for meeting for a beer or so. Nevertheless, we will have some beers probably on the evening, or at least some good dinner. And so I'm happy to welcome all of you who will come and listen now. And we'll make a nice wrap-up for the community then, and we make some pictures. And unfortunately, we don't have a live stream, but doesn't make much sense because we are not in a kind of a presentation mode where we will just sit together, distribute work, synchronize on how to work on it. And hopefully this will be the kickstart we need to get Telegram finally to a good shape and a fast, responsive app that has a feeling of can be able to compete with the official apps. Yeah, and it's also
probably some impressions like pictures and news from the meetup on Twitter and other channels.
This we can do anyway. Yeah, but in the end, we have to move because also Telegram is changing the API. So they recommended to us that we should implement it in this way. And while we don't have an exact date when they would switch off the old one, we are not going to risk this. So it's now time to really get hands-on. And so I'm very happy and glad that this was all self-organized by those guys. I did almost nothing except providing the meeting room here. And yeah, this is really community feeling, I think, because yeah, it just came up by itself. Nobody was really driving it much. Yeah? So after next week, for the next Q&A, we will have a summary of this, and I'm already very excited to report what has been done. Hopefully, we do a lot.
Oh, there's the link. Yeah, I'm blind. I didn't see the link in the notes. I'm going to post that in the live chat.
Yeah.
There we go. Oops, remove any web addresses and try again. I'm not a spammer.
Okay,
I'm a spammer now.
Matter. Yeah,
right.
I'm afraid except those people who already registered, nobody will be able to come so easily because first it's now a short notice, and then, of course, you have to find a flight, you have to find accommodation. You could come by train if you're on the surrounding countries, though. That would be easy. Yes, so, but still, we also value virtual support. Yeah? So give us some thumbs up or some likes for the Twitter messages and for the photos and so on. That will also be motivating. Yeah. Approved by Marius. Thank you.
Approved by me. I really hope to get there in time, but I'm not sure if I can.
And to remind this, to repeat this also for other ideas, if you have something, it might be as crazy as it can get, just go to our forum, find some people who are also interested in that craziness, and then just do it. Because in the end, this community project is for the community, but also from the community. So without the crazy ideas, it's not the same place. It's just us then, and you know, you see us every 2 weeks on this channel, but we might get boring. So bring yourself up here on stage. We can also invite you to live Q&A to present your project if it's crazy enough. Yeah?
Or, you know, good. Doesn't strictly need to be crazy.
That's true. Good. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Less indeed.
I think now's a good time to kind of pause a little bit and say thank you to everyone who is supporting us on Patreon and the LibrePay and PayPal and buy Bitcoin and all of those options that you can find at ubports.com/sponsors. We've got a lot of awesome community members who are donating to us, making it possible for Marius, myself, and a few others that we're trying to bring on work on Ubuntu Touch. And that's important to making these updates timely, making everything the way that you want it. So if you want to get in, we did have a question actually this week about this topic that I can bring in right here. The question was, is LibrePay working? So I went into LibrePay. Sorry, Riot just went off and it scared me. And you can pay with PayPal, it looks like, for me. Maybe that's just because I'm in America. But if you do go on to LibrePay, find us on LibrePay, librepay.com/UBports, and choose to begin donating, it brought me to a page where it asked me to sign in with PayPal and credit my account. So the link to get all of those links to donate to us is ubports.com/donate. Again. And the list of people who are already donating is at ubports.com/sponsors. So thank you to our sponsors there, including Private Internet Access, DigitalOcean, and Smooze. Excuse me. Okay. And we got a question out of the way just like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone is yelling. I'm just going to do that. There we go.
Who is yelling?
Someone's yelling in live chat. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
So, we do have one more question. Oh, yeah. PayPal and Stripe are working on LibrePay. Was just confirmed for me. One of the more interesting questions we got this week is, what are the top project needs right now? This came in on our forum, and you can always ask questions via our forum. We put our post up around Monday of the week before the Q&A. So what is the top project needs right now? Everyone together? Developers.
Volume.
Oh.
I was too slow unmuting myself. So developers.
Oh, we tried to get that really well. I guess it didn't work too well, but
That really backfired.
it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea all around. But what we really need are people to
Us
help
in a
us
nutshell.
with the development of Ubuntu Touch. We do have a couple of bugs marked as Hacktoberfest right now, so if you want to get in on development of Ubuntu Touch, those are a great place to start because I've taken things that are maybe easier to do, laid out how you'll do them, and you'll be able to use that information to make your first contribution. Once you do that, if you make 5 contributions in the month of October, good old DigitalOcean is going to send you a t-shirt. So I would highly recommend you get in on that because 5 PRs that are merged by the projects is going to be a t-shirt and some swag for you. That's at hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com.
Well, not only t-shirt, you also get the satisfaction of contributing to an online project.
Yeah, that too. But you also get a t-shirt. I've got mine from 2017 right now.
I have mine somewhere.
But also, not only Hacktoberfest tags could be good starters. There are some other things that really might be interesting for starters. Sometimes we label also with help needed only. So if you go through the repositories, that green one for help needed is something when, at least myself, when I think, okay, this is something a starter could do. A beginner that doesn't know so much about the details, but it sounds like an easy task.
Well, there's actually 2 labels we normally use. One is good first issue, which are usually very, very small, and then help wanted, which is a little bigger.
Yeah, so sorry, the other way around. This I wanted to say actually. Yeah. So both of these are somehow entry points. Maybe for some more experienced developers can directly go to help wanted. We really need developers. It's a really great community. We have awesome input from everywhere. We have a stable translation group. We have writers group that does blog posting and so on. We have a lot of support, but unfortunately the core team needs to grow still. And core team means that people that really can code on the UI, on the middleware, on the hardware abstraction, to get also these small bugs fixed. Like we got a question or discussion in the forum about, let's not forget the small issues, these daily annoyances. Let's say, I don't know, suddenly Unity 8 is restarting or something like this. There's a lot of things that annoy us also, because we are also users of the operating system, you're not just developing for it. And also myself, I'm always a little bit like, no, now this thing is restarting again. Yeah. It got better over time, but still there are sometimes reboots that nobody can explain. And so to get this fixed while it's not mission critical, but if you're going to show this as a competitor for other things, we also need to fix this one day. So developers. It's really, Ballmer was right. Yeah, this is something, it's only a very weird way he told this to the world. Yeah. But,
all right, someone needs to make a motivational poster with Florian on it that
developers.
No, it needs to say Ballmer was right.
Okay.
Oh no.
I will make a meme. I will make an animated GIF for you, dog. No problem. Okay, but this is what I want to say. Yeah? So if you're interested, I mean, the documentation we are improving also, but in the end, unfortunately, just the easiest way to get it done somehow is check out the code, try to compile it, see how it works, put it on the phone, and just work your way through. Too much documentation will not help because it's an awful amount of packages that somehow work together, a lot of interdependencies. It's just hands-on job, I would say. Yeah?
Yeah, and that's not to say that we aren't doing any of that. We do understand that there are barriers to entry right now. So say the documentation of how to compile system components using CrossBuilder. Specifically, CrossBuilder is a great project that originated at Canonical for us, which builds your deb for you on your computer using Lex C. I can never remember if it's C or D. That's kind of where we're going with that. And of course, I write the documentation mainly, so that's, of course, my job. But what I'd like to know is anyone who's having issues, let us know. If you're trying to contribute but something is in the way, tell us. Because we don't know unless we know that. I've been putting some improvements into CrossBuilder, like making it work by default on 1604, which I think is going to be good for everyone. But there's also configuration for each package that needs to be done. So whether or not that's working for you, we'd like to know. In the chat, we can go over this one real quick. From a beginner's perspective, what are the main things you need to know to build and port Ubuntu Touch? So the main thing you need to know to port Ubuntu Touch is to go to docs.halium.org. We're working with the Halium documentation now. We're working with Halium, making that support better in Ubuntu Touch. And that's specifically just for porting it if you want to run it on a different device that it doesn't have support for yet. We also have the documentation on our own site, but the first thing it asks you to do is go to Halium and get your build working there. So that would be a good place to start for the person who asked that. And that is a separate process from developing system software, making packages. So it's all a bit of work there. Just let us know. Okay. Other things that are the top project needs right now. Jan, do you have a couple more in here?
One very important one is that we get testing better organized. So this is one that I am partly responsible for. So at the moment, the QA team we have is not that strictly organized. It's a bunch of great and motivated people sitting in a Telegram group and testing if you tell them to test something. But in the future, in the near future, we will restructure that a little bit so that we have specific tasks that people can perform continuously. So this also ties in with the new release process we talked about earlier. So we really make sure that the whole smoke testing plan we have is executed for an RC before it hits stable. At the moment, of course, we do that as well, but only every once in a while. But then it would be a continuous process, and people would really feel responsible to continue to fulfill this task. And there are other things as well. So, for example, making sure that all the new issues that are filed are being triaged and labeled and checked for duplicates and confirmed, and made sure that all the patches that are distributed are being tested and so on. So if you want to be a part of the fun, then you can join the UBports QA team Telegram group at UBports_QA_team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you have questions about that on Matrix, you can go there too, since Telegram is down right now.
Exactly. But I don't remember the Matrix handle.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one either. Yeah, taking questions from Matrix today. I do notice that our live viewership is a little bit down. I wonder if that's just because people haven't gotten the notification that we're live.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll all hear it after, and it'll be great. Well, just looking for some more questions in the live chat here. But that's kind of where we are. A couple more questions from the forum. The first one, how do you use the subtitles of YouTube in other languages? I do want to cover that one just real quick. I tried to do that on both Android and Ubuntu Touch, and it seems like when you enable captions, it's just your system language or the one that it decides you're in. I'm not sure how to switch languages on mobile. There doesn't seem to be a way in the YouTube interface at all. So, just so you're able to know that.
If you really need to do this, you could probably use the desktop side.
Yeah, so you can go into the settings of Morph Browser and enable requesting a desktop site, and that'll give you what you expect, roughly. Ooh, boy. Yeah, the other questions in the forum this week were kind of what we've covered already with the new release process that we're thinking of. So that's where we are there. Florian, I see that you've added something in here for the notes.
Yeah, there was a question that I got on Telegram before we started, when it was still working. It was around 6 or so.
When Telegram wasn't dead.
Yes. Now it's really, we can see also that, again, a central service is sometimes really critical for the users when it's not there. Yeah? But nevertheless, also decentralized services can go down. So let's stick it with what it is. There was a question about, it's coming from Adria. He's from our Sardinian community. And though it's a very small community, they are very active. They have translated a lot of the app translations on our translate service already to Sardinian, but they still struggle that we cannot add Sardinian as a language to the phone. Yeah? So he was asking if I can give a rough status update, what's going on at the moment. Well, to be honest, I have to check. We made our way now up to the Qt guys, and from Qt, we are already one layer up, because what's the problem? Sardinian, in his specific case, is not a supported language on the Qt side also, because there is no country associated with it. But there are also other languages where the language is not specific to at least the country, that have a problem with the ISO coding or the ISO, let's say, assignment. So Qt is fully relying on an available country to display the language, and to make it not too technical, we filed some bugs for this. And now they promised us more or less for autumn, which will be now or maybe in, I don't know, 1 or 2 months, that with the next cycle of the database, of the ISO database, this will be fixed, and then Qt can pick this up. Yeah. So, but this will be something, because we are now on 5.9, right? This is Qt LTS release. Yes. in the current image. The problem is that we might not get this update even if they release it on the next 5.10 or 5.11 or 5.12. I don't know. So I cannot promise that we can backport it, but we can give it a try, because then it's much easier on our side that we get the new languages into the ecosystem or into the image. The other thing what we need to do this is we have to create language packs at the moment, which is also a little bit annoying. And I had already a long talk with Rodney and with others how we can fix this. The primary goal should be that the language packs in the current form should go away at all. Yeah? Because currently the system just looks, is there a language pack installed? Is there a deb package installed for a certain language? Then I try to send this to Qt and get the right code from there. And if this is all successful, then I can display this language in the picker for the languages. So we would have to provide language packs. This is possible for us, but it's not very flexible, because you basically need to compile this for, let's say, it's a kind of an upstream thing also, how Ubuntu works with translations. So we would have to inject this again as an additional package. But maybe we can work around this at all by just providing classic translation like it is with PO files and MO files that are compiled into the apps and the deb packages themselves. Of course, Canonical has a strong reason why they want to have language packs, because it's much more optimized. If you deliver a full distribution with all the packages, then that makes sense. But for us, that we are overlaying things on the upstream images, it's maybe easier if we provide the translations for our stuff included with everything that we install. So the idea is here, get rid of the language packs. We have to fit this sometime on our roadmap. At the moment, it's not. So yeah, I take this as a hint again that the community wants to talk about this item for the language packs to get on the roadmap soon. And yeah, we will see. I will try my best that we get a plan how we can do this. But currently, even with the language packs installed, we tried it out. It's not working because Qt is saying, I don't know what to do with this language because it's not in a country. It's a very weird thing. I didn't expect this, but For example, Esperanto. I don't know if anyone who is listening speaks Esperanto. Probably some language we all could learn, would be nice. But yeah, it's not associated to a country because it's designed by that. Yeah? And yeah, we will really try to push them on the upstream to get these things done for Qt. That would be very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point. I don't have anything more about this.
Related question from YouTube live chat. Where do you guys get your Qt packaging from? That is our own. So if you look on GitHub, we have the Qt base and Qt quick or Qt declarative and all of that packaged up.
Well, the packaging in itself comes from Debian, if that's the question.
Right, but we build the
it
packages
ourselves.
Yeah, we build them ourselves.
Yeah, that. Same for Qt Web Engine and most of our packages. We do have someone working with us to kind of get those into upstream Debian, any patches that we have and things like that, so that we don't have to change things all that much. But other than that, is there anything else that anyone wants to cover?
Not from my side.
Okay.
Not from my side.
All right. I think that we have a great release out for all of you. And thank you all for coming along on the ride with us. Because it's been great, and it's just a lot of fun to work with the OS and everything that we get to do every day.
Wait a second. Can I just move in? The update that I was looking for is that the Unicode, they have released actually their update yesterday. So this is brand new. So maybe we are one step further to language support because Unicode has done what they should, hopefully. So let me come back in 2 weeks, maybe.
So do we already have a plan to upgrade to a newer Qt version? Or how long do we want to stay on Qt 5.9?
Regarding languages, we could backport it probably. That's what they said, but it's a little effort on our side. On the other hand, in general, it's a good question. What do we want to do? Marius, you're a Qt specialist. What do you think about it?
So the plan was to do this at the same time as we upgrading Unity 8 and that. So we do it in line with that, since we then already have to do many of these parts. And that will happen in some months.
Yeah.
In May.
Yeah. So that's coming down the pipe, but not at this very moment. All right. I think that's good. I think it's a good stopping point, a good breather.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, so much for watching. This has been the UBports Ubuntu Touch Q&A, episode 38. You can find us on all kinds of social media. Telegram when it's up at UBports, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Mastodon, Google+. Yeah, that's going away.
It's going away.
Google Plus is going away.
Let's cry.
Let's celebrate.
I think we'll get over it. As well as Mastodon, Diaspora, and Matrix. And you can find links to all of that down in the video description. Thank you, everyone, again for watching. If you like this video, I guess that like button does something, but we haven't seen the benefits of it yet. Slap it real hard.
See if it works.
See if it works.
See if
only
it's
once.
down. But only once.
Yeah.
You should add that to the QA plan. See if you can like YouTube videos.
See if you can like this YouTube video specifically.
Like the current Q&A.
Mm-hmm. Well, we won't drag it on too much longer than that. We'll see you all on the next one. It will be posted on our forum at the time and date that it will be. See ya.
Bye.
Probably in 2 weeks.
Bye. Bye-bye.
In 2 weeks, yeah.